Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Monday, the 12th of April. All right, just having a look where the major currencies are on the charts. First of all, it's not exactly clear what's going on with the dollar, right? You see the dollar index pretty much trading sideways, right? And obviously the euro is a major part of that basket, 58%. So it's stalled and drifting sideways as well after last week's sort of little run to the top side. Sterling doing the complete opposite, run to the downside. Aussie was sort of heading lower, but it's been tracking sideways the last week as well, but in pretty decent ranges. And like the Kiwi here, right, you're getting these little pokey little breaks to the downside. Doesn't make it easy. Same with sterling here as well. Obviously, sterling is caught up in the whole vaccine situation. You know, issues around or worries about AstraZeneca. Creating a bit of a bearish sort of sell signal on sterling, but that seems to have subsided just a bit over the Friday. Now, very surprised to see dollar CAD didn't keep going low. We had some really good Canadian employment numbers. It just nothing wants to move just at the moment, right? This is the problem. Like you look at these dollar CAD numbers, really solid numbers across the board. Pen going a bit wonky there, but short-lived dollar or Canadian strength, but the dollar sort of came back. And it's a little bit of a funny one because like even today, the treasury yields, right, the price has gone up, which means the yield has fallen, which should be the dollar lower, but it's not, right? And with that price going up and the treasury yield's a bit lower, you'd expect the US equity futures to rally, but they haven't either, right? So, and then you look at what the majors are doing here. Right, I know this is Monday. Can be quite typical of a Monday where things don't really line up. There's discombobulation across the board here on the major pairs. And that tells me that no one is really sure what the dollar's doing against various pairs. All right, so it's a bit of a tricky one just at the moment. You look at the yields, right? They're not too far off where they have been. If anything, they've stabilized, right? To me, we had that sort of the rally in the yields, then it sort of fell. Now we're sort of steady the ship. I'd expect the impact of the treasury yields to sort of diminish as that focus has sort of deteriorated somewhat. The volatility index keeps falling. It tells me the market's not worried about any major events at the moment. So that's something to think, okay, well, we're very comfortable with what's going on, but we just don't have the rhyme and reason yet as to exactly what is happening, right? Even if you go back to last Friday's trading, it was the Canadian employment numbers. You get really good numbers, like 0.7% better in the unemployment rate. That's usually like a 100-point move easy. If anything, it dropped 30 points and then bounced. So just looking at the various news, right? You get dollar pinned down by lower US yields. It's not really, the yields aren't that much lower. If anything, they are a little bit today. And then you got a little bit of, there's no other sort of major focus going around on these. There's a bit of talk about treasury yields. So when you come back and you got to sort of work out this week, right? Last week was a bit of after the Easter break, a bit of a connection week. What we've got this week here is it's like a fresh start again. We've got the US CPI numbers out on Tuesday, right? So and even looking, it's going to be a big week there. We've got GDP and a bunch of other things coming out of the UK, but the focus will be, and this is why the US CPI is a really good number, because it comes out usually Tuesday, early in the week. Now the situation is, right, we're waiting for something to give the US dollar direction. I don't think CPI is really part of the game at the moment because the Fed keeps reiterating its maximum employment they're really worried about. Even if inflation was higher, it doesn't really mean too much to them. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. If we do get higher inflation and the dollar bounces, well, there's a bit of respect there for the macros. If the numbers are high and the dollar doesn't bounce, well, then we know that the US macros at the moment aren't really in play. But we'll have to wait and see for Tuesday. And with those US numbers out on Tuesday, the market will generally wait for that. Right? They're not going to sort of start pushing things around if they don't need to. They'll wait for those US CPI numbers, see if they make an impact, probably on the equity markets first of all, and then we'll see if that flows into the major pairs or the dollar itself. right? Of course, at this stage, we've still got to keep an eye on the US Treasury market. It has been a key thing to be talking and looking at in the last 2 months. But as I said, once again, coming back to the charts, it's pretty slim pickings here at the moment across the board. You know, we've had these moves like dollar index down, euro up. Now that everything's sort of trading sideways, it's like they've found fair value, and we want the next piece of the puzzle to work out if the dollar goes up or down, okay, and or if euro or UK or Australian or New Zealand or Canadian economic numbers can actually get some impact, right? The CAD, oil back at 59 bucks, really strong Canadian numbers. I would have thought it'd be down at 125. It's back in the middle of the range. To me, that's a bit of a warning sign that things aren't cool just at the moment. So we have to sort of sit back and wait and see how that plays out. And that's pretty much it for the start of the week. Pretty quiet start. No major disruptions in the pairs, no major geopolitical news, which is good. So now we're just going to sit back and wait and see where the currencies want to take us. Until then, enjoy your trading. Keep an eye on those Eurozone retail sales figures. They are a good sort of lead into what Euro could be doing this week. And don't forget, we've got the zoo numbers coming out here as well. Zoo economic sentiment numbers out of Germany. Now, April, I think they may include the sentiment following the third wave lockdown in Europe. So they could be really terrible and give that Euro a good push to the downside. That's what I would be looking for on that one. All right, guys, that's it from me. As I said, not much to talk about, not much excitement, but we'll see how the week pans out. It's quite funny, right? Usually when you have really big data and there's huge vibe going around, you can often get caught up in the noise. When there's not so much noise and things are quiet, it often turns out to be the best trading weeks. So don't get discouraged just yet. There's plenty to play for, and we'll see how the dollar looks after and during this upcoming North American session. All right, guys, have a good one. Cheerio.